This is the Classic Auto Mall Show. Broadcast from the studios inside the Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Just 1 hour west of Philadelphia at Pennsylvania Turnpike exit 298. Featuring nearly 1,000 classic, vintage, and barn-find vehicles for sale under one climate-controlled roof. Now, here's your host, Classic Auto Mall president and the man with all the toys, Stuart Howden.
Welcome. Show number 212 in the book, 211 in the books, right? 212.
Something like that.
Yeah, what was that song?
No, I have no idea. How about that auction we did last week?
It was pretty exciting.
We're going to get to that later on.
Oh, yes, we are. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So before we get to our guest who's joining us live in the studio, how many cars in inventory right now, JR?
One of my favorite Chrysler engines.
There's a Porsche. No, there's a Porsche reference.
Oh, no. All right, then I'll...
You know it starts with a 9.
Yeah, I was going to go... let's go with 911.
Right,
928.
904.
Oh, punished.
Yeah, the 904 was an obscure Porsche reference.
Not kidding.
Everybody.
I would have gotten it.
But, you didn't.
Mr. Porsche.
It was that low.
Yeah, well, we've sold a few cars lately. Thank you very much. Anyway, joining us in the studio today, race car driver, fabricator, company owner, bon vivant, Kerry Hitt. How are you, Kerry?
I'm well. Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks for coming up today. Most of our guests are via Zoom because they're on the other coast or far away or whatever. So we're glad to have you in the studio. We got to justify all these microphones.
Oh, it's great to be here. It's fun to just come down and look at the place. It's just amazing.
I tell you what, it's there you go, Randy. It's been a lot of fun. We started January 1st of 2018, and not knowing really what was going to happen. We knew that there was a lot of cars around this area. We knew that the consignments we could make happen, but how many could we get? Could we fill the building? And at our peak, we had over 1,200 cars in the building, which was too many. Yeah. It was kind of proving a point, and we proved it, and then we go, okay, well, that was good, but not something that you need to do. It got to the point where you literally couldn't even walk between the cars. So,
I was in here, and I remember that.
Yeah, kind of defeats the purpose of what we're doing here. And it's not always about quantity, right?
True.
And we learned that in business, early on. I did, and I'm sure you did too, is that, the logical progression is a much better way than just to, keep jamming. Before you know it, you've outgrown yourself.
True. Too quickly.
Yeah, too quickly. So you started racing kind of late in life, 21, right?
Yeah. Back then, right now kids are driving their 15, 16 years old.
That's crazy.
Back then you had to be 21. So,
right. You had to get a license.
To get a license. So
I look at the kids in Formula One. They look like they're about 9.
Incredible. I know.
I think some of them are. They just great reaction time, right?
Yeah. Well, even a Trans Am. Their 15, 16-year-old, I think, is points leader at Trans Am too.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess there's a lot of validity to it that if the person is disciplined enough at an early age, their reflexes and reactions have got to be so much greater than anybody, even in their 20s or 30s, right?
Yeah, true.
So I think that if you were in your 20s today, would you feel like that you were equal to what they were doing, or is it a different world now?
I don't know. That was so long ago. I can't remember back that far. But I think that what we have today is there's a lot of discipline. There's a lot of programs that we didn't have back in those days. Go-karts were something that were just kind of coming on, and right now you've got organizations. You have the go-kart, the racing set up, and it's a really good structure for somebody to start out. And you're right. Reaction times are great. Some of these kids, 4 or 5 years old, are in little carts,
sure,
and on motorcycles and stuff like that. It's just amazing what they do.
Right. Well, and the reflexes, like we said, and also the fact that when you're younger, you don't have necessarily as many preconceived notions about things as you get older. Sure. Sometimes we overthink things and think that we know better than whatever the statistics or computers are telling us. But today's, different too. People will tell you it's safer, obviously.
It is.
But
thank goodness.
Did you think about, lifting weights and working out as a race car driver back in the day?
No, not at all.
Not even thought a process on that. Now they have these regimens of what they eat, and they're like football players.
Oh, yeah. You've got to be an athlete to be a good driver.
Right.
We run 100-mile Trans Am races, and let me tell you, the end of 100 miles, especially 100 miles on a 90-degree temperature day, and you're wrung out when you get out of the car.
Oh, absolutely. Do you have a cool suit that you wear?
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't completely cover it, right?
No. But I tell everybody that I'm 20 years younger when I put on the cool suit. It works out well.
Maybe you could take it and wear it in a bar, and then
yeah, true. Yeah, sure.
And as far as the safety of it, it's nice to see that although it's still dangerous. I mean, let's face it, racing is always going to be dangerous, right?
Stepping off the curve is dangerous. So,
especially if you're on your phone.
Yeah, especially if you're on. Yeah, true. Even more dangerous, maybe.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
But the safety has come a long way. Probably, I mean, just everything. When I started racing, we didn't have fuel cells,
right?
And so that was one of the first upgrades that I had, and unfortunately, it came at a cost,
right?
But people saw it and they realized that we need to do something about it. Unfortunately, we've had the technology to be able to do something about it.
Sure.
And the safety today, some of the crashes you see in Formula One today, is just horrendous.
Even 10 years ago, they probably wouldn't have walked away from, or 20 years, certainly. If you look at Ayrton Senna and, that crash, that was preventable today.
Oh, absolutely.
But
the halo was a huge thing.
Which is interesting because if you're an outsider looking in, and to look at that halo, you think, that's got to be so distracting. But the drivers say they don't even notice it.
Nope, don't see it.
Isn't that weird?
In our Trans Am cars, I've got a bar that goes at an angle down across the window. You just don't see it.
That's so funny. You think it's right there, but yet your mind somehow
so far ahead. You're looking so far ahead. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and that's like what we try to teach kids today in driving is don't have tunnel vision. Don't look right directly in front of you. Look ahead. Look at the guy in the driveway. Just assume he's going to pull out in front of you.
Yep.
But to be a good race car driver, do you have to have a sense of what the guy ahead of you is going to do, whether he's going to go left or go right? I mean, I always have a feel driving down the highway if a truck's going to pull out in front of me. I just know it. I instinctive the way he's moving and things. Yeah. Do you get that in racing?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. I went to an advanced driver school. Bertil Roos had it. I'm familiar with him. Up in Pocono at the time. Right. This was years and years ago. And he called it ocular tactics. And it fit really well because what it is you watch everything, you take everything in. I mean, the data points that you get and you're watching, you're going down the road. For instance, you mentioned a truck. You might not realize it, but you see the front wheel as you're passing it, and if it starts to move, that gives you an indication probably before you even really realize it.
Right.
It just kind of happens automatic. And
sure.
You take in a lot of things that are on the track, on the racetrack. I mean, we're running 180, 200 mile an hour at times,
wow.
and you're a part of the car. You feel what's happening, what's going on, and you just that's the way you drive.
Right,
I don't know.
right.
I don't know how to really put it into words. But
right.
when you experience it, you said it. You're driving down your road, and you kind of
have a feel.
Feeling is what it is.
Because you watch the Formula One drivers, and when they make a pass on a guy, and when they have the the DRS open.
Yeah.
I mean, if they make the wrong decision to go left rather than right, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big trouble. Yeah.
Big trouble.
Yeah.
So, and Trans Am racing was your what you race mostly, right?
Trans Am road racing. Yeah. Back in high school when everybody was drag racing.
Right.
And that was when Sterling Moss was. Well, I sort of got a little bit teased that. And my nickname was Sterling because
really?
I was always talking about road racing.
Right. And nobody else was really talking about it, especially around here.
Right, exactly. And I think what introduced me to that, you may not, I'm from Reading, from the Reading area.
Right.
Okay, my family's from Reading area. And my aunt was married to a fella by the name of Irv Wolf, and he was on Mount Laurel Road.
Right.
And he was one of the East Coast go-to sports car guys. I mean, it was a one-car garage. You had one car in at a time that worked in these things, and you would go by and you would see Jaguars and Ferraris and
way before you would see these anywhere around.
Yeah, right. And so my aunt drove an XK 150, kind of like the one you have. I saw that. Right? Yeah, talk about memories coming in. I walked in, I looked at it, and I just got goosebumps because I think that. So she ran Duryea Hillclimb.
Oh, right.
And she won the ladies class.
Wow.
And so that was just all part of the thing. And I just thought it was so cool. Anybody can go straight.
Sure.
But that's just how I looked at it. And I got involved in hill climbing first, and then road racing, and then the rest is kind of history.
Sure.
You know?
Well, the SCCA still runs the Duryea Hillclimb.
They do.
And I had thought that I wanted to get involved, and I went up to the top. I snuck my way up to the top up near the pagoda, and I watched those cars coming through up there, and they were doing like 150. And I'm like, what the heck? This is not, I thought this was a gentleman's thing, you know? It's not. It's fast.
I think that we have the record. We crossed the finish line at 161 mile an hour.
Wow. What kind of car were you in?
A Corvette.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually have a video of it. Inside in the car video.
Wow.
I'll show you after.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. How cool is that?
It is. It is so cool.
Yeah, hill climb is a little more intense than I think people realize. I think literally, I thought you just drive up the hill and it's kind of, I mean, if you're really being competitive, it's a serious and dangerous.
Yeah. It's probably more dangerous. It is more dangerous than a road course because, you know, the trees and the guardrails, I mean, they don't move.
Yeah, no runoff.
No runoff at all. Yeah.
Well, it was like the family that lived on the trackside of Le Mans used to eat on the second floor because they were afraid the race cars would crash into the first.
I believe that. Yeah.
So, and you ran at the Hershey Hill Climb as well,
Ran
too.
Hershey, yeah.
And I never, so they had one, when we moved here in 2017, I think there was one or two more that they had done, and then they stopped doing it, and then they said they were going to revive it, but they haven't. So, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hershey Hill Climb, it had a reputation, a great one, you know, and people just loved it. Yeah. It's a short hill. I mean, the road is really narrow, you know, and there's trees. Oscar Kowaleski, did you know that name?
I know the name,
okay,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, Oscar unfortunately crashed, broke his leg in a some sort of Ferrari hybrid, Chevy engine, something, you know, yes, it's dangerous because you have to drive. The idea is to drive at 100% all of the time.
All the time,
yeah. So there's no room for error.
Yeah, and
cold tires,
and you know, maybe something wanders out on the track that, you know, may not happen.
That's I have got video of deer running out in front of me, just coming out of the pagoda, starting going over the top, and I'm doing close to 100 mile an hour from that point, and. There's 3 deer come across, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, because I got to imagine when you're racing, the last thing you're thinking about is stuff that would normally, you know, happen on a highway. You're not thinking about, you know, coming around the corner and the truck is jackknifed, or the deer, or any kind of animals on the track, right?
Yeah, that's true. But here again, what you were talking about kicks in is just an awareness of everything that's going on at the same time.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, because I mean, if a deer, I mean, in a car, when a deer runs out in front of you, you just got to hit it. I mean, that, you know, that's just the best way to do it, unfortunately, because otherwise you try to swerve, you're going to probably create more problem than you had. So you got to get those deer whistles, you know, those things like J.C. Whitney used to sell, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think they work.
Well, I have it's like having a scarecrow to keep away giraffes, and I've never seen a giraffe in my backyard.
It worked, right?
It absolutely did. So you also, you were talking about driving schools. You attended the RRDC driving school.
Yes.
And your instructor was somebody we might have heard of, I think. Was it, I thought Mark Donahue was the chief driving instructor?
Yeah, well, that was the Advanced Driving School up at Lime Rock. Right. And it was so cool. I mean, it was back in the time when I didn't have 2 pennies to rub against each other. So the car was whatever it took to make it run, you know? Right. And we started out in the course. They had instructors, and Mark was the chief instructor. Right. So they had the instructors at each particular corner, and then you would run so many laps, and then you stopped, and they would critique you.
Wow!
And I thought, you know, it was really cool. So the last corner was the downhill, and you go the straight before the start finish line. And Mark went from corner to corner to corner. So at one point in time, he would be
at every corner. Right.
And after we were all done, we parked the car and walked up and said, "Who's driving car 26?" And I thought, "Uh-oh, what did I do?" You know?
Dadgummit.
And I kind of sheepishly said, "That was me." He said, "You want to see how to get through this corner? Get behind this guy." He said, "Perfect. I couldn't have done better myself." And it's like, you know, I would just couldn't believe
That's
this.
Goosebumps.
I got goosebumps. You're right, exactly. And then he said, your car's really a shit box, but you know how to drive it, So I go from here to there.
All in a matter of moments, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how you can be brought up and brought down? The RRDC is a great organization too,
fantastic.
It used to be. It's kind of changed its mission. It's now more,
safety,
and that's so great. I mean, listen, we don't want to see. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
We know it. Yeah. It's inevitable. Yeah. But the more we can mitigate it, the better.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And they've made leaps and bounds in safety. Sure.
Do you have you're talking about Lime Rock? You see they had an airplane crash out of 172.
I just saw that. A guy, and it looks like he landed. I think, well, maybe he didn't have a choice, but I would think I would have tried to at least get around to the straight. It looked like he landed
like turn 6
after before you go under the bridge, because the bridge is in the picture.
And they're having an event there, so the safety crew was there. And I thought he would have landed at the start finish, and maybe he could have come in second or third.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But how crazy was that? But it was how fortuitous that he crashes on a place where there's people that handle this kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's what they're trained to do, and here they are right there.
Exactly.
There was a fuel leak, and apparently they
took care of that.
And how perfect is that?
What they're trained to do.
If you're going to crash, I guess that's a good place to crash, right?
And I would probably much rather crash in a race car than in an airplane.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah. Isn't it funny how being planted, the more people die in car crashes than airplane crashes, but more people are afraid of airplane crashes than car crashes.
Yeah.
Because, that lack of control and not being grounded and all that, it gives you that kind of uncomfortable feeling, especially when you're, somebody else is in control of your destiny.
Exactly.
That's why I always drove when I was a kid. Of course, my parents, the gas bill when we get from L.B. Richardson's Exxon station every month, my dad would just be like, "Do you fill up every single day?" Pretty much. Did you have a favorite track, though? Is there a favorite track that you enjoyed the most?
Probably Bridgehampton.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't run that anymore.
They don't run that. Is it still there? Or?
I hear conflicting stories. I hear that the track is there, or parts of the track were there. And I heard there was a golf course built around it, and then I heard there's some residents. I really don't know, but that was so much fun. Yeah. I mean, you would go down the straight and drive off the end of the world, because you go under the bridge and the road just dropped down, and it just kind of like a roller coaster.
Sure.
It was a fun track.
And did you have a favorite era of cars? I mean, was there a favorite era that you enjoyed the most?
Well, I mean, Corvettes have been, sort of my middle name forever. That's what ended up getting me in business. The composite materials and that sort of thing, and so I would say that.
Being a race car driver and being in the composite materials for race cars is a distinct advantage that not everybody has, right?
It is, a
good knowledge base to be able to do that, because being able to communicate what a car can and can't do is so crucial in racing.
I've been very fortunate to be around a lot of people way smarter than I am, and I just kept my mouth shut, my ears open, and learned from them. Bob Riley in aerodynamics.
Right.
Jerry Stahl. Are you familiar with Stahl?
Yeah.
Stahl? Okay.
Yeah.
I probably learned more about racing, the mechanics of racing, from Jerry Stahl than I would say probably everybody else put together.
Wow.
Brilliant guy.
Right.
We ended up, he closed his business down, and we ended up buying the manufacturing end of it.
Oh, wow.
And we are now building Stahl Headers under the ACP label.
Nice. And those are for race cars or street cars as well, too?
Pretty much race cars.
Right.
They didn't get in. I know there are people that buy them and put them on streets, or run track days or on streets, that sort of thing. But we do everything exactly the way he did it. Hired the fellow that ran his place we worked for Jerry for 27 years at the time, and he's running it. So it's a fun thing to do.
Sure.
So between that and chassis dynamics and learning how to build cars, we pretty much can do everything.
Right, you build a car from scratch, basically,
literally,
right?
Well, we do,
right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about you had the molds for the 962s.
We do. We have the molds for the 962. We built we built parts for Al Holbert.
Right.
Back we did them stateside for a number of years before he left us.
Right.
And great guy there too.
Oh yeah,
brilliant, incredible driver.
Oh yeah, fun to watch, and just smooth. He just looked so smooth out there. It's like that's what I always admired by race car drivers. That didn't look like they were accelerating or decelerating. They were just there.
Yeah,
they're just going.
That's what makes it. Yeah, they say a lap that is really smooth is a lot faster. It doesn't look like it's
right.
as wild and crazy.
Well, it's like watching, you talk about Formula One on TV. You look at it and it doesn't look as fast as it is. When you go and stand at point, in between two corners and watch the acceleration that those cars do between point A and point B, it's staggering. You can't believe they go that fast. And same with the dragsters. I mean, we were just at Maple Grove a couple of weeks ago. Those things are just
amazing.
12,000 horsepower.
I know.
Magnetos, two of them actually. They had two magnetos to start those things.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that, in the road racing scheme of things back in the early days you're talking about, with Al Hobart around here, but Roger Penske also was right around and grew up in Reading as well too, right?
Yes. I think Roger was from his business is in Reading later. Right. He's from the Philadelphia area, I believe. Right. Yeah, and started down there. But there was Otto Linton. I don't know if you know that name or not.
I've heard that many times.
Okay. Yeah. His son Roger had worked for me as a crew chief for about a year and a half. Right. The whole area has been racing oriented, sports car oriented, automotive oriented.
Right.
I think you picked a great place to be here.
Yeah, and we didn't know it when we started.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about it. I mean, we knew that this was car country around here. We knew that people were into cars, but the level of amount of cars, and for us to consign, anywhere between 900 and 1,100 cars every year, and most of them come within 100 miles a year.
Yeah.
So, and you realize how many collections are around here and estates that have cars, and it's staggering the amount of cars here. Of course, your business is not relying on local business, right? You're all over the country, maybe all over the world, right?
Well, yeah, actually, we are. Actually, it goes beyond that.
Right. Oh, really?
No, I'm proud. We do a lot of things. I mean, the race car body is how we started out. Mm-hmm. And then we did some government work. We build the azimuth and elevation. They're actually radar equipment housings. They call them radomes.
Right.
That land aircraft on ships. So every ship in the Navy that lands aircraft has our equipment on it. And
that's a good
and that's a cool thing. And I thought that was really, really neat. We've done other things. I did an all composite electric pickup truck 30 years ago.
I remember seeing pictures of that. Yeah.
So we did that, and I thought that was a cool thing.
Sure.
But just recently we've gotten involved in a project which is the coolest that we'll ever do. And that is we're building parts that are going to go on a drone that's going to fly on the Titan moon of Saturn.
Well, that just mic drop. That's it. I can't top that in any way, shape, or form.
We'll never do that, So yeah.
Wow. Have you gotten to go out on some of the aircraft carriers and things?
I have not.
Oh,
no,
how cool would that be?
I came really close to it. One time I went down to Corpus Christi, but they brought an aircraft in. We were doing some development work on some composite stuff, but I didn't get to go in the carrier. Maybe someday.
You also built an iconic piece in the Susquehanna River, didn't you?
We did.
Yes. A Statue of Liberty that you redid, or what was the story behind that?
So that started out as a sort of a joke.
Right.
There was a fellow by the name of Gene Stilp, who's from the Harrisburg area. He's an attorney up there. And he and a bunch of guys got together right about the time that they were dedicating the statue in New York.
Right.
They decided, we need a statue. So they put this thing together with Venetian blinds and plywood, and it from a distance, it really looked pretty good. And they go out there in the middle of the night, and this is in the middle of the Susquehanna River. It's shallow, but the really rapids, fast rapids. And they go out there in the middle of the night, and then they get up in this bridge pier that is about 25, 30 feet in the air. They got all this thing set up and set this thing up at night, and then the next day, and I remember having the radio on in Harrisburg. I remember that somebody's talking about the statue in the river, and they thought it was a big prank.
Right.
It ended up, it was a prank, but it was real. It was there. Okay. Right. So that stayed up for years, and a flood finally washed it away. And everybody, by that time,
it was part of the
loved
landscape,
their carrier. They loved their statues. So Gene contacted us and said, what do you think? They were looking to try to do one out of stone.
Right.
Well, that wouldn't work. They couldn't get it out on that thing. So came down, sat down, I took a look at it. And so what we did is we took one of the statues that you buy from New York.
Right, at one of the souvenir shops.
And scanned it with a fare alarm. Back then, they still didn't have the digital laser scanners. We scanned it with a fare alarm. And we did every 3 inches, we did a scan around this thing, and I got a bunch of plywood, and I cut out at 3 inches, I cut out that profile,
Right.
and another 3 inches that profile, and we built it up, and then we used expanding urethane foam in it, and that
Filled in.
gave it a shape. But then we whittled it all down and carved it down so it would.
How tall is it?
It's about 35
Wow.
feet, I think. Yeah. And in fact, we had to take it down in sections. We did it in sections. We had to take it down to a place called Fort Hunter, and we assembled it, rented a forklift and assembled it, everything. After it was all done, and we then had a helicopter come in, rigged the helicopter up,
Right.
took it up, and I've got pictures of this whole thing.
Sure.
And then took it out and set it on the bridge pier in there.
I'll be darned.
Has been there ever since. So,
I'll be darned.
yeah.
And what an icon, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody that grew up in that area knows that. They talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
it's interesting to see that river because they could make it so commercially great if they got rid of all those big rocks out there. I don't know how they would ever do it, but
Well, those rocks made the rapids, like I
Sure.
said. And it was interesting. In fact, the helicopter pilot told me that he really had a little bit of a problem because the water was flowing, and because the rapids were there, it kind of gave it texture, and he was having a little bit of a problem just not getting vertigo, you know,
Right,
and
right.
bringing it over and set it down. He did a great job.
people don't realize how difficult it is to fly a helicopter, you know.
true.
And then if you're trying to set something somewhere, it
Right.
might be even a little bit more difficult, I think.
And he did. It worked
Wow,
out
that's
well.
amazing.
Yeah.
So you probably raced just about every track, right? You raced at Road Atlanta, Road America. Is there any track that you haven't raced that you'd love to?
Probably a couple, but we raced I ran the Rolex series for a number of years,
right.
and that, of course, we've run Daytona,
Sure.
the big track. We ran out California Speedway. I ran Laguna Seca.
Right, which we were just there. It was a great track.
That was just incredible. I tried to go to Laguna probably 25-35 years ago, and on the way out we blew up the engine in the motorhome, and I never made it.
No.
So finally, when Trans Am went back there, we were able to make it. And
That corkscrew is intimidating, isn't it?
it's incredible.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it
Right.
at any track in the world.
It's crazy that somebody hadn't duplicated something similar to it, but
know.
they didn't.
I know.
mean, and
Yeah.
I like that they didn't. I
Yeah,
like the fact
exactly.
that it's unique.
And the other thing about it you don't know is as you're driving up to there's a hard left-hander when you start into the corkscrew.
Right.
But as you're driving up, you look out over, it's on the top of a mountain.
Right.
And it's like you're going to drive off the edge of the world because you can see it's really far down there, you know. And we're doing like 165, 170 mile an hour going into this corner,
Yeah.
you know, and then just hard on the brakes and then turn it.
Trust
and
and-
you get just like you roll a fighter over and you go into a dive. You know?
Sure.
It's just
They had the ragtime racers there, which are all the 1910s and 1920s cars, and it was funny to watch those guys because they'd just start at it, and the whole car would be almost four-wheel drifting and go in the wrong direction, and they were literally fighting to get the steering wheel back, and it was not easy. It looked like it was pretty tough, and those cars don't even have seat belts.
Yeah,
and they're like,
I know.
sitting like on top of a barrel.
Yeah, talk about lack of safety.
Yeah.
I've often watched those and just sort of bite my fingernails
Yeah.
and say, just get through this.
Yeah,
you know, it's fun.
Yeah,
you know?
and we wanted to stay fun. you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, of course, when we were out there, too, they brought back a lot of the IROC cars,
Yeah.
which was interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of the great drivers from that era, Danny Sullivan,
Yeah.
and Scott Pruitt, and
Tommy Dreese, one of our
Dreese,
Trans Am drivers, won it.
Yeah, he won it. Yeah,
He did a
and they
good
got to
job.
drive through the streets to go to the Quail.
Yes.
And when one of them said, I don't remember who it was, said the cool thing about it was we couldn't obey the speed limit because we have no speedometers in our cars.
Well,
Yeah, so I like that fact. I wonder why wouldn't they have a speedometer in a car? Is it a mental thing? Do you think, or?
well, we actually do now. Now we have the GPS.
Right,
You know,
right.
So our data has that, and you can. I look back at it.
Sure,
I don't have time to look down and see how fast I'm going.
The
you know?
amount of things that they do in racing today on some of these cars, it's amazing the buttons that they're pushing and doing.
Yeah,
I'm on my
Formula One.
simulator and I can't look down without running off the track.
Yeah. You can drive a simulator. I wish I could. I get sick in a simulator.
Really?
I can't drive a simulator.
Isn't that fun?
I've tried that. I'd love to.
Right.
You know,
Because
but-
it's a great tool that
Yeah.
you can
Oh, yeah.
keep your
Yeah.
chops up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, watch these kids today. And it's funny that arguably one of the greatest F1 drivers, Max Verstappen, is not the number one sim guy
Yeah.
in the world. You know, there's some guys better than him that are in mom's basement or wherever they are.
Part of that is and I think the problem I have is when I'm sitting in the simulator and I'm watching the track, I'm waiting for the input to the body, and I'm waiting for something, and it doesn't happen, and I think that just sort of upsets equilibrium or something. I'm not sure.
I think that makes sense because you don't feel the G's, you don't feel all of that, the deceleration, acceleration, all of that is not there. I mean, you can't feel when the car's sliding like you would feel in a real car. I mean, it's a great tool, but it's not the end all, right?
Correct.
You got to be able to be out there, and you're not hot, and there's no fear of death.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
you push a button and reset. You know.
You run off the road a little bit, and you say, "Oh, that's fine. That's no big deal." But
try it again.
But it's probably the success of a lot of these younger drivers. And earlier you were talking about go-karts, and the go-kart scene in Europe was way better than it was here, and probably still is to some degree,
it is,
right?
Yeah.
But we're catching on, and I think that's why there's not many American Formula One drivers over there because they didn't follow the natural progression path to that.
And the other thing is they are just now getting into road racing.
Right.
Racing was either go straight or go in circles.
Right.
And now and I believe I think it's a great format that NASCAR has because one of the issues with road racing and spectators, and obviously spectators help bring the purse, and all of that, is that you would go and you would probably camp out and you'd set up one or two corners and you'd watch it and then you wait for the lap to come around again. Whereas they're now having these stadium type things. They have the racetracks, which has all the grandstand, and you can sit there and you can literally watch the whole track.
Yeah. I mean, so many racing disciplines have that problem. Offshore powerboat racing had the same problem where you just couldn't see it. And that was why Bristol was so ahead of its time in having that track that was so self-contained right there. Like it was a big track, but designed more like one of the smaller tracks. And you could see everything. And of course, how cool is that? And then of course they had the University of Tennessee football game there with playing Virginia Tech, and that was even cooler. And then they had a baseball game, either have it or going to have it in there. Because it just lends itself well to that stadium environment. And same with the cars. And you can, like you said, watch the whole thing. You're not missing any of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So. And you still do some historic racing?
I've taken a little bit of a break. I've just gotten so busy with this program we're doing. It's called the Dragonfly for the drone program, and I've got that. And then we're trying to finish we've just actually finished the Toyota.
Right.
So I'm hoping to take that out, maybe get it to the last race for the year.
Right.
Not sure if I'll drive it or not because being out of the seat for a little over a year and getting a bit older, yeah. So out of shape.
What's the power plant in the Toyota? Is a Toyota power?
It is a Toyota. Right. It's a Toyota. It's. I'm just going to say it's 875 plus horsepower.
Wow.
And it's 600 foot-pounds of torque.
And weighs
2,700 pounds. 27.
Right.
20,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a good power to weight ratio.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's Trans Am is. They say it's kind of the best kept secret in racing because it is the last no nannies, no traction control.
Right.
None of the helper type things. It's raw power. It's carburation. It's really no analog brakes.
Right.
It's really takes a skill to drive the car.
Sure.
And I have not heard of anybody that has gotten into a Trans Am, a TA car, that had not come out and said, "Wow,
different animal from what
totally
they're used to nowadays,"
animal, and they love it.
Yeah.
But we're trying to build the class, and I realize it's expensive, but we're trying to and the current Trans Am people are trying to build the TA class and really make it what it was back in the heyday. And I hope that it works out because if that's gone, we were talking earlier about some of the skills and things that people have and lost skills. And when that's gone, I think that's the last race. It's not a spec race.
Right, exactly.
Indy is basically a
spec race, right.
NASCAR is basically the same thing,
Sure.
So this is, it's been said happiness is a thin rule book, so
I like that.
Yeah, people who enjoy building the cars and racing them.
Sure.
That's the last haven for it.
Well, it was amazing to watch the guys in the old days build cars when they didn't have all the technology and how they figured things out and figured out, camber and off camber and downforce and all that when it wasn't even in their vocabulary, right?
Oscar Kowaleski, we talked
Right.
about him, told me that back in the day when I think it was Miller's were running Indy, the early days of Indy, they used to race horses, and they knew that they could take and they could weight the shoes of the horses differently and get better performance out of them. And they took that concept, and they put it in cars, and now the setup, that is what it is.
Really
So
brings the horsepower thing full circle.
it does, doesn't it? Yeah. It's just these are little tidbits.
This is the kind of stuff I love, though. It's the stuff that you don't get on any other show or podcast.
There you go. There you go.
Anyway, and it's so great to have you here. And of course, my famous last question I get to ask all my guests is, "What's your daily driver?" And the more mundane, the better.
Daily, well, it's a Chevy Duramax pickup truck.
Nice. That is probably the most popular response is a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Most guys are racers. And, their go-to is usually a pickup truck. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. At Earnhardt, the same thing.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
Absolutely. So Kerry Hitt, everybody, thanks so much for being again on the show, and enjoy. You can wander around, and if you brought your checkbook, if there's anything you see out there,
it's a great place to wander around. I could get lost, and I've come down here a couple of times, and it's fun to just come down and just walk through.
Absolutely. Thanks. We appreciate that so much. We'll be back with the Classic Auto Mall show in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you then.
Whether you want to buy or sell a classic, collectible, or special interest vehicle, you need to visit the Classic Auto Mall website for more information. If you're looking to buy, you can easily search our inventory of more than 1,000 vehicles on the web at classicautomall.com.
I like that. That's pretty good.
I like the beat.
It's
Easy to dance to.
Yes.
it's snappy.
Thank you, Dick Clark.
Welcome back to the show. As we said earlier, show number 212. This is, hard to believe, 212. Listen to this. So 1 year ago today, we had 5,209 subscribers to our YouTube channel. Today, we have 81,909. In 1 year,
How about that?
we've gained 70.
Where's the applause?
76,000. Woo! That's pretty amazing.
We need the
isn't it?
ooh.
Yeah, or actually we need
2.5 million views.
Wow.
1,400. We're going to be 1,500 videos by the end of next week.
Very good.
Pretty soon.
here it is, a little late.
Yeah. Kudos to the team.
Yeah.
Kudos to the team. Yes.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
10 times. No, that's 11 times, 12 times. I don't know how many times, but
It's appropriate where we sold cars last time was Lumberton, North Carolina.
Ooh, driven through it.
Wasilla, Alaska. Reading, Pennsylvania. Appropriate. Toms River, New Jersey. Polson, Montana. Euless, Texas. Greenville, North Carolina. Middle Lake Harbor, New Jersey. Jerseyville, Illinois. Greenville, South Carolina. Prince Frederick, Maryland. Princeton, New Jersey. Canaan, New Hampshire.
Maybe Canaan.
Maybe. South Amboy, New Jersey. Roselle Park, New Jersey. Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Gambrills, Maryland. And Cockeysville, Maryland.
Don't get cocky with
Don't
me.
get cocky with me.
about
So how cool is that?
That is cool.
Yeah.
Alaska.
Wasilla is right outside of Anchorage, just like a suburb of Anchorage. A lot of cars up
You know
there.
how far
You'd
it
be
is to
surprised.
drive?
No.
If you do nonstop, it's like 78 hours.
A suburb.
We
yeah.
literally did the Google Map thing to see how long it takes. You just basically drive all the way through Canada.
Oh, yeah.
All the way.
Oh, to get there from here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
And you could see Russia from your front yard.
Yes.
a big deal. It gets
70.
20 below is average on the wintertime.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. But it's a dry cold. So,
Right. Not a damp cold.
yeah, not damp and wet. So
I think you need one of those block heaters up there.
I believe you might need a block heater. I think that's probably where the block heater thing started.
Well,
Yeah.
I've told this story on air before, but I bought a Typhoon there in October, but he couldn't ship it till February because the plastic would have been so brittle from
Right.
20 below zero that they had to wait for it.
They had to wait for
ship
it,
to
yeah.
Seattle.
I knew somebody that worked in Minneapolis, and it was like a big deal to get a parking space that had a block heater or plug-in.
Oh, really?
Block heater.
Oh, that's interesting that they would have plug-ins there on the street. So, new arrivals. How about the 2004 Porsche Boxster S convertible, Arctic Silver metallic over navy blue? I guess the clock is going to start itself. For
Ding dong.
99,326 actual miles. Tons of recent service, so that's a good thing. With when you get these German cars, as we've said in the past, make sure that they got good service records, and if they don't, you pay accordingly.
Yes, sir.
Because there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and you don't want to get a surprise, quickly if you haven't had it well sorted. So, other new arrival, the 1964 Chevrolet Impala two-door hardtop tuxedo black over black, rebuilt and worked 409 cubic inch V8, Saginaw 4-speed manual, sinister good looks. Well done SS Tribute. That's a good-looking car.
That is a good-looking car.
It's a good-looking car. 336 rear.
Yes, sir.
How about the 1967 Dodge Dart GT convertible, white over black, built 416 cubic inch stroker, worked over A999 3-speed automatic, solid drop top, show and go, baby.
Advertised as a compact car back in the day with man-sized proportions. That's what it said in the brochure.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Man-sized.
But still remaining posh.
I
know, the 60s.
How about the 1972 Chevrolet C20 Suburban, burnished gold over tan? Wow. 5.3 liter LS V8, 4-speed automatic trans, Dana 60 rear, California truck, vintage air, and the Holly Terminator EFI fuel injection, which is really cool. I love that.
It's running through FX Flowmaster mufflers. When I saw this thing being tested out there, I said, that is the truck for me.
Yeah, it's a cool truck.
It sounds great.
Sounds good, and it's an unusual color in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total sleeper.
Yeah, it really is.
You would not expect that thing to have a 5.3.
No, exactly. How about the 1979 Chevrolet Corvette Coupe, silver metallic over medium red, 36,000 actual miles. This is an AACA and NCRS winner, which is kind of unusual for a late 70s. You don't see many of the Corvettes that have those badges of honor.
Yeah.
Numbers matching 350 L48, numbers matching T10 4-speed. This thing is really, it's as nice as 79 Corvette I think as I've ever
I agree. And, we get a lot of C3s in. This is an award winner.
And last but not least, the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Yenko Tribute, Le Mans blue over black, well done. Worked 427 cubic inch 4-barrel V8, Unsi M20 4-speed manual. Affordable muscle. You get the look of a Yenko without paying,
Yenko money,
150 grand or whatever. So our auction was last Friday.
Yeah,
and we did really well.
I thought it was fun too.
It was fun, and we did well. I mean, the amount we had 800, almost 900 online registered bidders, and a couple hundred in the audience registered bidders for 88 cars. That's a good ratio.
It really is.
It's really a good ratio.
That's what you want. More bidders than cars.
Yeah. Usually the ratio is if you have double the amount of bidders of cars, and so if we'd have had 160 to 200 bidders, then that would have been a very successful thing. And we had almost 1,000.
That's great.
And sold cars from here as well too. So people came and maybe they didn't get what they wanted across the block, or it brought more than they wanted to pay, and so they had an opportunity to buy stuff here. And some of the stuff really did well. And of course, we did the sleeper of the thing was the Lincoln Mark II, which wasn't getting a whole lot of bids online pre-auction, and we were a little concerned, and thought, well, this thing might not break 20 grand. It was at like 15,000 for 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days before the auction. We're thinking, well, this thing may not do what we thought. Brought 50,000 on the block.
Amazing.
It was crazy. In $250 increments. This is exciting.
Yeah. And the bid stalled like six times. And then somebody would jump in at the last minute.
They'd hit, and for the first call, second call, and for the third and final time, 45,000.
It's one of those auctions that ended with applause.
It ended with applause.
It's good.
And it's just a really cool looking car.
Oh, great car.
I said you'll probably see this at the Oscars next year or something.
Funny you should say that, because the guy who bought it is from Los Angeles, and he called me yesterday, and he's visiting his daughter in Nashville, and can't wait to get the car and drive it around L.A. And what a great car for L.A. But that's the outlier of something, and that's cool, because one of the things that we did not know before we started was whether we could sell the higher end cars at the no reserve format and do well enough that people would want to bring them and trust us to sell their cars. And we proved that with that and some other cars that we had, the BMW 6 Series and the Jag, both brought about what they should bring.
Sure.
They were about right on the money of where they should be. And so we're going to do more of these because we had fun doing it. And look, it's good for business. It allows us to thin out some of the cars that need to go, that have been here a long time. And and we get calls almost daily of a guy saying, look, I just really need my car to go. I'm in, a little bit financial straits, and I really need this to go. And we do our best to get them as much as possible, because, we don't want to take advantage of somebody because they're in hard times. We want to get them to help them out of that hard time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But even some of the Army stuff, I mean, one of the Army trucks brought 20 grand, and that was encouraging. And a lot of them without titles, certainly makes it a little bit difficult. Some people would sit on their hands and not buy something without a title. And I don't blame them. If you don't know the process or haven't gotten one, before, then to be expected to figure that out can be a daunting task. So.
And sometimes it didn't matter, like with the '59 El Camino.
Right, exactly.
It's like, bidders wanted that car.
They wanted the car, and it was. I knew that car would do well.
It was doing well online.
It was doing well online, and of course, and same with the Edsel station wagon, which everybody loved. Everybody wanted.
I thought I was going to stay in house, but okay.
Oh well. Yeah, I don't even think I was going to buy. I thought, if I buy something, I'm going to put my badge on. I'm going to get off the block. I'm going to go stand out in the crowd and just be like a regular person. Right. And, not that I'm not anything but a regular person. But I was going to,
what you mean,
a regular bidder, and never got a chance to do it because everything went for
higher
more than we expected. And and I can't say enough good things about Geyer Auction Company. Those guys did a rock star job.
Yeah.
They really did, and it's not something that it's not their normal thing. They do a lot of estates and stuff and things. And yes, they've sold lots of cars, don't get me wrong. And it's not completely out of their wheelhouse. But to have a collector car type auction was probably a little different from them, but you wouldn't have known it the way they handled themselves. They did it well. And they had more registered bidders than the national proxy bid had, which was really surprising. I mean, because, you don't always expect that. You expect that this national concern would have way more bidders, but they had almost double. Geyer did register bidders what Proxy Bid had. And Proxy Bid, don't get me wrong, they did a great job as well, too. And we sold about a third through Geyer, a third through Proxy Bid, and a third in person.
Interesting.
So it was kind of the perfect storm of the way it worked. And it was exciting. And I've gotten so many nice emails from people saying how much they enjoyed it, how much they hope that we do it again, that it was a lot of fun, that it was, the results were very impressive. The GTO did well.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of those ones that we'll see that one on the road.
I'll tell you what was hot, the classic trucks.
Yeah.
The classic trucks brought great money.
Yeah.
A lot of them are non-titled or didn't have a key, but
didn't have a key or title
they're
or
all in pretty good
a
shape.
fuel tank or no.
Well, and we mentioned during our production meeting, I think it needs to be said on the show of what a great job, and I'm not blowing smoke, that you did bringing this together. I think it's your background in auctions and also with live shows in Branson, Missouri.
Sure.
There's a lot of moving parts to this thing that we didn't, Steve and I didn't think about.
Sure.
We're like, wow, I got to do this, got to do that.
The back end is the most interesting part of it, because in order to put all this together and make it all happen, you really need a team of about 8 or 10 people, literally. And we had me and Kathy, basically. And Amy, our administrative assistant, who does an amazing job. But I mean, basically the nuts and bolts of it were 2 people that were doing it. And that's a lot of work to do. And our regular business didn't shut down.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not like we stopped doing it. But it's funny how people get into the auction business and they think, well, that looks like fun. Well, it is fun if you've done your due diligence, if you've done your homework, if you know the right forms to have and the right procedures to do and how to track it. Because you're dealing with thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars that are tracking in and out, and you got to make sure that you know that everything's going to the right place and to the right buyer, and the wrong person didn't, we didn't write down the wrong bidder number. I mean, there's just so many things that can go wrong. So I thank you for that. I appreciate the.
Yeah, well, you got the stage set up and the chairs and the video set up and the audio set up and all, all of that goes to the signage and all of those things, advertising and not just mentioning it on the show, but all of advertising that Classic Auto Mall does to promote the vehicles we sell.
Well, and when we promote Classic Auto Mall, we're promoting the auction as well.
That's right.
People go to our website, they see that we have an auction, and they see the date and all that. And even as many as we've done over the years, and I've done hundreds of auctions, but there's still things you learn almost every auction. There's something that you go, we could tweak that and make that a little bit better, or make this a little bit different. I think one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to require people to pre-register to bid much earlier than they did this time, because we ended up with a long line of people, and we had to delay the start of the auction a few minutes, which is normal. That happens at most auctions. Right. And most auctions have a line of people that are waiting to get signed up at the last possible minute. And I get it. Then things change, or you change your mind, decide you're going to come, and you hadn't really pre-planned anything. But we're going to encourage people to sign up early, so we've got all that in place, so we don't have to at last minute add them. And we don't want to make a mistake, A, and B, we don't want them to miss a car that they came for.
That's right.
It's easy to miss a car. It's easy to go to the bathroom and come back and go, oh man, that Trans Am I was going to bid on. So, but it was a great job by the whole team. I mean, it put a lot of workload on all of our staff, our administrative assistants, our car specialists, our spec guys, our photographer. our rider, a little extra on his plate too.
I mean, I was shocked that they were all cleaned. They're sitting outside and they're cleaned.
Wait, don't. Did you hear what he said about the rider?
Don't step on that.
On that, man.
Yeah, it really took a lot to write. No
Thank you.
title, no title, absolute. Okay.
No, that was a little more to that.
There was actually more than that to it. So he did a great job. I'm really pleased with everybody's workload and the way that they did it. And
Thank you.
And it was also because I think it was everybody. It's fun to do an auction. You know, they're exciting.
I think it is.
You watch
exciting.
people that sat out there the whole time, weren't buying cars, just watching it. They're
exciting.
just enjoying it and having a great time.
It was fun.
How cool is that?
And our video director, Randy.
Yep.
Applause for Randy, too. Yeah. There you go.
Everybody did a great job. And thanks to my wife who, puts up with all this shenanigans. And she's wishing we were in, purses, not classic cars.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So, and, it's one of those things, just because it's my passion doesn't mean that carries through to everybody. I get it. A lot of people, it's just a job. And it's a cool thing that we do classic cars, but at the end of the day, it's still a job. It's still a regular, normal job that you have to come to work and be on time and, listen to the boss's crazy ideas and, all that good stuff.
Fortunately, most of us are passionate about classic cars.
That's the good news.
That's the good news.
That's what it takes to be successful in this as a car specialist, is to be passionate about cars, not to be a good salesman. If you were a good salesman at the Ford store, you're probably not.
I'm a horrible salesman.
Yeah. A lot of guys are like that who know cars, know them intrinsically. The problem is you don't have to know cars to sell them. You have to know the process.
Yeah.
And that's the key. That's the difference between selling a classic car and selling a late model, new car, Toyota or Ford or Chevy or Chrysler or whatever it is. So when we return, we'll be joined by our guest, publisher of Sports Car Market Magazine, Mr. Keith Martin. We'll see you in a couple of minutes on the Classic Auto Mall Show.
The Classic Auto Mall has more than 1,000 vehicles for consignment in our huge 8-acre climate-controlled showroom. It's a real indoor mall. If you'd like to know all the advantages of buying and selling a car through consignment, the information is available on our website, or you can talk to a classic car specialist who can answer all your questions. It's easy, safe, convenient, and it doesn't matter where you are. We sell worldwide. See our huge selection of classic and collectible vehicles at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall Show from the Classic Auto Mall studio in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, joined via Zoom with our friend Keith Martin, publisher of Sports Car Market Magazine. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. It's a glorious sunny day, and at the end of today, there's an all-British field meet that I'm going to take my Jaguar out to.
Nice. Good for you. I was just perusing the new issue.
Yeah.
How about this F-50? My goodness, $9.2 million. What was this thing new? Do you remember? Was it $400,000 or $500,000?
It came right after the F-40.
Yeah, so it would have been, probably $500,000.
400 or 500. And, I never, compared to the F-40, I never liked the F-50, the looks of it.
Me neither.
I understand it's a better car.
Right. But that doesn't, it's like saying a 360 Modena is a better car than a 355. I still like the 355 in the looks department better.
Yeah,
right.
No, notice we've got that car on the cover of the F-50. We have been shifting the cars that we cover to move them more and more modern and to a newer demographic.
Because that's what's happening at these auction houses. I mean, look what Bonhams did at the Quail a couple of weeks ago or a month ago in Monterey. I mean, they had a supercar collection that was off the charts and all absolute no reserve, and it was some kind of police, federal, whatever thing, and they did huge money on those cars. And that's the state of the market, right?
Yeah. No, the world is definitely changing. The MGBs and TR3s and Ferrari 250 GT and stuff. It's all the young people today are growing up with cars that have AC, power steering, power brakes that will just fire up with their fuel injection.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want to be bothered with the crap that we took as normal.
Right. Well, and that's the success of resto mods. You want to look cool in your 69 Camaro, but you want to be comfortable, and you don't want a crappy ride because you just got out of your Escalade, and it's got magnetic suspension. I don't even know what the hell that means, but it's something to do with something. And I get it. I understand that. I understand being comfortable. Listen, there's times that I look at the cars in my collection, I go, yeah, that one I'm going to take because it's the path of least resistance. It's comfortable. It's got everything I need in it. My sunglasses are in there. My cup holders there. The whole thing.
Yeah, I get it. And if a car is too much work to drive, you end up not driving it.
Exactly.
And then you look at, and a year's gone by.
Yeah, exactly. So as always, every week we bring your blog to life.
Thank you.
And this week's blog, is it chip time for Sluggo? It sounds like, is it bedtime for Bonzo?
Exactly. The Sluggos are affectionate name for my 1991 Series 4 Spyder.
Right.
I mean, that's got a 1960s suspension.
Right.
It's got 120 horsepower. It weighs 2,500 pounds. And I've got the snappy automatic transmission in it.
So it really goes.
Yeah, but we just took it on a 600-mile trip with my family. It's got power steering, power brakes, air conditioning. The car will cruise at 75. And what I've learned on all these back mountain roads, you don't ever need to go faster than 75 miles an hour.
Right. There's no reason to. Yeah. Well,
a new Porsche, we could take a new Porsche and go 140, but now that's stupid and it's dangerous.
It's dangerous. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. We always say that.
Right.
That's one of our...
the problem with the new car, it gives you no warning before it goes berserk.
Exactly. It'd be nice if they give you like a heads up of a week or so, so you could plan accordingly.
You are in big screwed up trouble.
Exactly.
But with the Alfa, because it's so old fashioned, when I told my son, when the warning sign says 45, all right, in the Lotus Elise you can do 70. Don't even think.
Right.
But it says 45, slow to 30 in the Alfa.
Right. Maybe shift down to second probably would be.
Yeah,
no, it's an automatic, so you don't have to do that, right?
The tires will start to squeal and the car will bounce up and down, and it feels like a Gemini rocket, like coming back re-entry into Earth.
What's the horsepower increase with the chip?
Well, it's about 10.
So, wow. So 0 to 60 goes from 14 to 13 and a half, right?
Well, we use an egg timer for 0 to 60.
The egg timer. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I'll have to get one of those. It'd be $1,000 all in because everything's always twice what you think it'll be. Yeah, ask me. Every guy that asked me on the floor, can you put air conditioning in this? I go, yeah, vintage air. It's like $2,000. And my guys are like, it's not $2,000. It's more than that just for the equipment. Then you got to install it. So quit telling people it's $2,000. We're in that old school.
And then when you're done, it's not even cold.
That's right. It's like it's kind of tepid. So
I've got a 911, 75 that was an air-conditioned car,
right.
And I took it to the shop. They said, "Well, for $10,000, we can give you bad AC in this car."
Is there a tepid on the slot switch? Where it says
it's tepid and cold are the same.
Oh, gotcha. So it's one and the same. I got it. So, but there's nothing sexier than those Spyders. I mean, they're just really, really good-looking cars, and
they're pretty. No, that's their saving grace, and they actually look like something even today. When you see one, it's striking.
Yeah, I always stop and look at one if I see one in an auction. There's a lot of cars that I'll walk right past and never give two thoughts to. I always stop and look at the little Spyders. They're always good-looking cars, and especially if they're in the right color. There was one we saw the other day. It was black, and it was a great-looking car. It was just sexy, and affordable still. I mean, these things you can buy in, well under 20, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
maybe.
I figure my car, I paid 15 or 16 for it. It's worth. Now, I'm told they only made 200 automatics and they only brought 50 into this country.
Right.
Now, that means that they're rare and valuable, right?
Right. Rare and desirable. What is that? Is that the two things we're looking for? Right?
Yeah. I'm looking for affirmation from you saying, "Oh my God, there are only 50 of them, and this is my chance to get one."
Yeah. I had a guy call me the other day. He goes, I got a really rare car, man. He goes, I got an 85 Mustang painted in chartreuse. There's only 5 of them built. I go, you know why they only built 5 of them? He goes, no. I go, because nobody wanted them.
Oh, wait, did it have a radio delete?
Yeah. Well, it had a little cardboard thing over where the radio used to go. So, it's...
Well, I was just looking at, there was a car for sale on Hemmings, an Alfa Spyder automatic.
Right.
And the guy had done all this stuff to it, including a chip. Now, the very last line of his auction says, salvage title due to DOT error. We can work it out after the sale.
Yeah, that is
doesn't that give you confidence?
We'll work it out after you've paid. It's pretty funny how people can just downplay, minor little problems like that. I mean, there's, nothing that we can't fix. It's one of those things. And,
I mean, what's this salvage title crap anyway? We all know that. I mean, just because the car was rolled into a ball and then turned back out, doesn't mean that it's not worth full value.
And some states will not even title a salvage title car. You got to really go through a process, even though it was completely rebuilt, completely redone. There's not an original part on it. Doesn't matter. It's got that tag on it. And that's the same problem with Carfax. Now collector cars you can run a Carfax on, because anything, I say collector cars, 25 years or older is what I meant, can now have a Carfax run on. And it's funny, when we sell like an 80 or a 2000 Corvette, to the buyer, and they don't think about this, to the buyer, it looks like a brand new car. And then they realize, it's 25 years old, but in their mind, it's a new looking car. It's not an antique. It's a 2000. Well, according to the definition of law, it is.
The whole Carfax thing is interesting because depending on which shop decides to file a Carfax report, how accurate the report is, they get the VIN numbers mixed up sometimes.
Yeah.
It's still important. I mean, what I really like about auctions now and listings is when you can Google the VIN number.
Yeah.
And everything on Google will come up about that car.
It's amazing what you find. You'll find where it sold at an auction, where it had some problems, where it had this. Yeah. And Carfax is great. I mean, I get it. It helps a lot. I would like to see Carfax incorporate photos of the damage. If they could, and this would be a consumer thing. You'd have to do it on your own, or the dealerships would have to do it. Just submit a couple of photos of the damage, because it'll say minor damage, which could be like a scuff. But you don't know, because you don't see a picture of it.
Yeah. Well, that's the value with the kind of auction you did with all the pictures.
Right, exactly.
Because people need, again, you've got to have that air of assurance and you want to know all the bad things.
Doesn't matter. I don't care if it drives you away. If it drives you away, then so be it. I want you to know what's wrong with the car, because what I want you to tell me when you live in California, when you receive the car or wherever you happen to live, the car was a little bit nicer than you described. That's music to my ears.
And I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so are you getting the chip or not?
No, I'm not going to. It's $1,000
for 10 horsepower.
It went fast enough and the question. Some of the comments I got from my blog was, who knows what kinds of other problems you're inviting when you change something. The manufacturers are pretty smart when they set these things up.
Exactly.
Somebody said this might lead to excessive camshaft wear. I've got a car that runs. It's a Sluggo, but it's a good car. That we've got brand new AC in it. It cruises. It's happy. Bluetooth, big speakers. So, and for what kind of measurable increase and $1,000 would I run the risk of having something bad happen?
Absolutely. Because if you put them side by side, one chip and one without the chip, and they both went 0 to 60. I think they'd be pretty close. I don't think it'd be imperceptible amount of difference. It wouldn't be much.
Well, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
But I'd never seen an Alfa, an automatic that had been chipped. So I was intrigued by the ad, and I went and looked up the YouTube videos and stuff. And so I thought I'd throw out my readers, but most of them said, just buy a faster car.
Right. And I like what's the point? I think your next blog needs to be what's the point, and then you can fill in whatever else you want to say about what's the point.
Yeah, I agree. No, so it was this ad in Hemmings it's just fascinating because again, it goes all the way down with all these modifications, and then says salvage title. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean you're so excited. Oh man.
I know. Well, you know what you learn to do with these online things? You just cross things off.
Just with a marker. Yeah, a Sharpie, I think, is what we would use.
Why would I, with all the cars that are out there?
Yeah. Why would I do this?
Well, let me bring up one more thing I think about weird ad displays. It's weird when somebody will say a car, beautiful condition, horn doesn't work, right passenger window doesn't go up and down, and heater is broken.
Right.
and you think, why didn't the guy fix those things?
Right. And you know what we found out? We actually have some situations that come up like that from time to time. And usually what the case is that either the guy has inherited something outside of his zip code of money, and so now he's got a car that's worth 30 or 40 grand, but he didn't have any money to fix it, or the estate won't allocate any money to fix it. And we get tempted to fix it, but then we think, then we're in it. Now we got skin in the game beyond what we want to have in it. So, that's the downside to it sometimes. And, sometimes that can be a gain to the buyer. So, if you're a buyer and you see that and you can say, well, look, I was going to pay you this, but I'll pay you this, or this, based on, everything that doesn't work right now. I get it. And sometimes guys will tell us on certain cars, don't fix it. I'd rather fix it myself. Because then I know the process. I know it was done the way I want it done.
Once you start going down the road of fixing and improving a car, it's endless hell.
And you don't get your money back, generally speaking. I tell people all the time, don't spend $1,000 to get $500 more, because that's that's bad math.
It doesn't work that way. And it also, if you're making any cosmetic improvements, you're guessing that the improvement you make is the one that the buyer would want to have.
It's like over customizing your home to exactly what you want. It's a kiss of death. You should never do it with that or a hot rod. So, all right. Well, looks like we've solved all the world's problems again. So we will.
Exciting news about your auction.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. I think our next one's going to be March, if I can get all the troops to rally behind it and realize that it's a hell of a lot.
You're doing the right thing, Stuart. I mean, really, a dealer today has got a mix of tools that they have to use, and they have to be in every single game.
Exactly. If you're not, you're missing out. So, well, Keith, have a great week, and we will talk to you next Wednesday, man. See ya.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with the Classic Auto Mall next week. We'll see you then.
Here's a special offer from Sports Car Market Magazine. Get a 6-month subscription for just $19.95 by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive and the number 6. That's sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. If you're a buyer, a seller, or just general classic car enthusiast, publisher Keith Martin says,
we've been around almost 40 years. It's the Wall Street Journal of the collector car world.
Activate your 6-month trial of Sports Car Market Magazine by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. Offers for a limited time. Be in the know with Sports Car Market. The Classic Auto Mall Show with their host, Stuart Howden, executive producer, Steve Seth here, produced and engineered by yours truly, J.R. Russ, video editor, Randy Lammy. Available on classicautomall.com, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Music courtesy of the Pat Travers Band. For tour dates, contact, and stuff, visit pattravers.com. Produced by Car Smarts Media. Copyright all rights reserved.